Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trip Tales, the show where we talk about your Disney and Universal vacations. My name is Jamie Lee, and this is episode 89. The Capture the Magic Network is sponsored by Zip Travel, the most magical travel agency on Earth. They can help you make memories that will last a lifetime by booking Disney World vacations and other destinations for you, like Universal Orlando, SeaWorld, beach vacations, international destinations, and beyond. So visit vacationwithzip.com to get a free quote and be paired with either Lauren or Kendall, and they will take care of booking your vacation for you free of charge. And if you do book with Zip, you'll get a free gift during your trip as a thank you for supporting the agency and the network. And you'll get a t-shirt from us. So take advantage of their knowledge and experience and start the planning process today. Again, that's vacationwithzip.com to get started. Well, welcome everybody. This is Trip Tales, a trip report show where I have a guest every episode that recalls details about their most recent Disney World or Universal Orlando vacation. And we talk about things like hotels, crowd levels, weather, lightning lanes, cast members, dining, etc., etc. And you can always learn a thing or two from these episodes that maybe you didn't know. So it could be a valuable tool to help you plan your next trip. And I'm always looking for guests for future episodes. So if you'd like to be a guest, please visit ctmtriptales.com. Click on Be on Trip Tales at the top and fill in as much information as you can about your trip. Emailing me, you can do if you don't want to do the form. My email is jamie@ctm.show if you want to go it that way, but otherwise the website is where you go. So today's episode is kind of a fun one. This one is a bachelorette party, and they actually only did one park day as a group, which I thought that was an interesting way to plan everything at Disney, but it worked out really well for them. And I hope you enjoy listening to all the shenanigans you can get into when you're a bachelor party or a bachelorette party, and how you can kind of tailor it to what your group is interested in. So like this was definitely a more, I would say, like low key bachelorette party, which is awesome. But they had one park day and then the rest were chilling and, you know, Disney Springs and hotels and etc. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode. And here is my interview with Kensi. All right, well, let's get to my guest today. I am talking to Kensi. Welcome to Trip Tales, Kensi.
Hi, thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. First question I like to ask right off the bat. In one word, how was your Disney trip?
Sure. Not to be cliche, but like I would say truly just magic. Girls trip, we had so much fun and so many awesome moments together. And anytime you get together with a bunch of friends, I think, the magic really does happen.
I love that. Magical, fantastic. I love, those are all like beautiful words. So I'm excited to hear about your trip. Okay, so give me some basics. So what were your trip dates?
Sure. So we arrived on January 23rd. I will say the bulk of the girls left on the 26th, but some of us lingered through the 28th. So
okay.
An extended weekend.
Okay. And so what was what day was the 23rd? Just so I have it in my head. Thursday. Okay. And then you said girls. So who traveled with you?
Sure. So it was actually really exciting. It was my bachelorette party.
Woohoo!
So I had my maid of honor and my bridesmaids, all of which I have grown up with, spent lots of time with throughout my years, just whether it's people from my dance studio growing up, my cousins, my good neighbors, friends from the lacrosse team. So it was really great to get us all back together, and what better place to do it than Disney World.
I agree. Where did you guys stay?
We stayed at Caribbean Beach, and we were in the Trinidad section. So off on the side pretty far, but it ended up working out perfect for us.
Okay. And I'm assuming you had 2 rooms?
We did.
Okay.
Yep. We had 2 rooms in the new renovated mermaid room.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. And what kind of park tickets did you guys have?
Yeah. So I would say the bulk of the girls did just Epcot on Saturday. Okay. And some of us stayed until Sunday. I am an annual pass holder along with one of my other friends. So I also snuck into Epcot on Tuesday before my flight took off. But our main trip to the parks was Epcot on Saturday.
Okay. All right. And besides dining, did you do any extra activities or any events while you were there?
Actually, yes. I was surprised with the private boat cruise for the Magic Kingdom Happily Ever After fireworks.
Ooh.
We did it on Friday night. So I planned this whole thing. I'm the bride. I'm a planner, but also I love Disney. So to me, this, planning a Disney trip it's fun. It's exciting. I know what I'm doing. So everyone was like, we don't know how to surprise her. What can we do? And one of my good friends, the other annual pass holder, was like, well, actually, I have an idea. So it was such a surprise. We had so much fun.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I can't wait to hear about it. All right. Well, that's all I need to know for now. So we're going to go all the way back to the beginning, and you're going to start with telling me how you got to Florida.
Sure. We all flew in. So we're up in New England here. We had some people flying out of Boston, some people flying out of Hartford, and then one person was coming from LA. So everyone did hop on a plane to get in, thankfully, pretty nice weather. And when we arrived in Orlando, we all met up and took the Mears shuttle together. Okay.
And remind me, how much does that run again? And like $16 or $17 a person or something?
It's like I think round trip, it's $32.50, like super odd, but it's less than 35. And for us, part of the reason I find coming to Disney to be so relaxing is that I can book these things and then be pretty mindless about it. I got my luggage, I got downstairs, we all grabbed a Starbucks, and we just got in line and they told us what to do. Also, traveling with a bunch of girls who all have a lot of luggage, doing an Uber would have cost way more.
Right.
And I like the safety and the security of just getting on a bus that's very well traveled and well sanctioned versus, getting in a ride share.
Yeah. Oh, that's very good point. Very good point. Okay. So what time did you get to your hotel?
Yeah. So I will say this is probably the longest that I've waited for the Mears shuttle. We probably waited 30 minutes, which was tough. It was around noon. So we were assuming they were doing like a swap out of maybe drivers or something. But again, there's a big group of us. We truly are on nobody's time at this point. So we ended up getting to the resort right around 1:30 and heading right to the Banana Cabana for lunch and some drinks.
Okay. 1:30 and then right to Banana Cabana. Okay. So before we go on anything else, had you been here before? Have you been to Caribbean Beach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
So you were familiar. Okay. And to go through, we talked about this before we started recording, but some of the girls that you were traveling with, some had never been before, some have been sometime. So like, how was that? Like, were they all like kind of, deciding where you're going to stay, or was that really just kind of up to you? Were you just like, this is where I want to go?
Yeah, so I am obsessed with the Skyliner, and that is like putting it lightly. I would Skyline all day, every day, anywhere I could. So I usually stay at Pop. It's just a great price, and I don't need that much space to fit me in. My mom and I take girls trips. I do, friend girls trip. Me and my fiance, what have it with just the two of us. It's fine. And our original plan was to stay at Pop because it was a great price. I got a really good AP discount. But I did give the girls the option. I said, I'm looking at Caribbean or Pop. This is what the overall pricing would be if we did this one or if we did this one. And we all kind of agreed like, we'll save some extra cash and we'll go to Pop. But then we were getting a little anxious, and by we, I mean myself, because of the typical January Skyliner closure. The Banana Cabana is one of my favorite spots in all of Disney World. And I wanted an easy route to get there. So I was like, you know what? Let's just make the switch. And it ended up being so much better because the rooms in a moderate are just that much bigger. So having, 3 to 4 grown women in a room was not a problem. Also, we've all grown up together, so it's no different for us.
Right.
But it worked out really well. And Caribbean has lots of extra like gathering spaces
that's true.
Pop might not have.
Yeah.
It was also cold, so we weren't necessarily like sitting by the pool at every chance we could get, which that's kind of the gathering space that you have over at Pop. So overall, definitely a better move being at Caribbean. That's where I grew up going with my family when I was younger. So really, kind of fun for the nostalgia and just a fun, great tropical atmosphere. And coming from New England, who doesn't want that in January?
Yeah, I would have done the same thing. I mean, yes, it's nice to save money and everything, but if you're going for more, like a little bit more money for a better experience and to like be close to like what you actually want to do, then it just like makes sense.
It truly, and we're all grown ups. We're paying for singular adults. We're not bringing a whole family, so it did make more sense to us. And having the option to walk over the Riviera, really was was the better call. And the entire time we're all like, oh, wow, okay, you're right. Okay, we're right. We made the right choice.
Nice. So, okay. So you got to Banana Cabana, and then what was, was your room ready yet? Or were you just kind of waiting on that, or what was the plan?
Yeah, just waiting on that. Trying to get adjoining rooms. I also requested the first floor, and I did request Barbados or Jamaica just to be a little bit closer. The woman at the front desk was so lovely and was like, I think you're going to like these rooms better being a little bit further away. Mm-hmm. And it was true. They're newly renovated. They were stunning, just really beautiful, light and airy. It kind of fit all of our vibes. Mm-hmm. But getting the adjoining rooms, we checked in, I would say probably closer to 4:00 than 3:00.
Okay.
Which was abnormal for me on a Disney trip. I feel like we usually can get in pretty early, but we did make quite a few requests. So yeah, we prioritized those.
Gotcha. Okay. So tell me about the room. I know you said a little bit about it, but you got the Little Mermaid rooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those are beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Very, light and airy. The other Caribbean rooms are a little bit more natural colored. And I would say more of like a warm tone. Mm-hmm. And those were like light and bright with rattan accents. And I do love, interior design as well. So it was just really neat. The Little Mermaid was very, very faint, but like every once in a while, like you'd see flounder in like the mural on the wall. Mm-hmm. It was a fifth sleeper. Both were fifth sleepers, which an adult slept on that. And I mean, she's kind of short. She's probably 5 feet tall, but slept on it comfortably the whole week, which was wonderful to have that extra space.
Right.
And the pull down bed is the one that pulls over the couch. Mm-hmm. Is just so much nicer than the table, because then we had like this living space to enjoy.
Right.
And between the two rooms, we, had so much space for the 7 of us to hang out in there and relax and get ready and not feel like we were diving over each other.
Yeah, that is so nice too, because it kind of reminds me of the DVC rooms. The way they've been like renovating them is the same Murphy bed over the couch thing, and I think that I think it's super like more practical, especially like for families, like you said, to have like a seating space. Like put the bed up, you got the couch, and it feels more spacious, and you can do more around than just having the two like queen beds out all the time. Yeah,
we didn't all have to like snuggle up on bed, just in the bed, just like have a conversation. Like we could all be in and around.
Yeah.
And that sleeper was great as well, because you can, you fold them back up and then you have like basically a whole dance floor in there.
Yeah. Well, yes. Did you have the first floor? Did you get the first floor?
We did.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
We looked on the first floor. We just had so much luggage. Well, and by we, again, I also mean myself, because I had gifts to the girls, and they had decorations, which was fun. They decorated the room, and in like almost like a Mexican-ish theme. The Mexico Pavilion is my favorite in Epcot, so they kind of took off those vibes. So we all had quite a bit of extra stuff, and I always like a first floor in a value or a moderate, because you're just walking right out and you don't have to think about it. Mm-hmm. Like on the walk for morning coffee, it just makes it so much easier to get to the caffeine.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Okay, so you finally got to your room and settled in, I'm guessing. And then what was the plan for the rest of the night?
Yeah, the plan, we had a 7:30 reservation at Raglan Road, which is another one of my go-to spots.
Okay.
And the plan was just to go there and explore Disney Springs. Mm-hmm. A few of the girls that hadn't been since like elementary, middle school days, it was still downtown Disney, and it was a totally different experience. So for them, it was a brand new place to explore.
That's cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like way different. When did that change? Like I want to say like 10 years ago, something like that.
Yeah. Probably like in the teens, which feels crazy that was even like that long ago, but
right.
Yeah. So that was cool for me. I kind of had that like proud mom moment of like taking my friends around this place that I love. Mm-hmm. And that they haven't done since they were kids. And I have been joking with everybody, like, as an adult in Disney, you get to make your own rules, because you're the grown up of the day.
That's true.
I'm like, and we didn't get to do that when we, were in middle school with our parents.
Exactly. Okay, so you had dinner at 7:30, and let me just ask right now, since you guys are traveling together, it's Bachelorette thing. Did you guys have coordinating outfits?
So we did minimal outfits. I'll get to that for Friday at the boat cruise, because that was a total hoot. I wore white. I had Disney bride ears, and I'm not even a big like Minnie Mouse ear, but I was like, I must do this.
You must.
So we decided that Thursday we were just going to dress nice.
Okay.
We originally were going to do like something blue, so they'd be in blue and I'd be in white, but it was pretty cold. It was probably 40 and rainy. So we adapted and said, how about everyone just look nice and we'll go out and have some fun. I did get them all black Mickey ears, so they wore those all week, which was very fun. And one of my best friends growing up, Bree, she told everybody we met, like, she's the bride and we're in Disney. Like, she was just flabbergasted that she had like made it back to Disney and we were doing this. So that was kind of the running joke of the weekend. We're like, okay, where are we? We are in Disney.
Well, that's so nice though. To see that's like, it's like fresh take. Cause I know as an annual pass holder, I'm sure you're just like, oh, I come here all the time. It's not like new to me anymore, but it's like, it's almost like seeing Disney or seeing it from somebody like that's a brand new person, like never seen the castle, never seen any of this. And you're just like, I get to experience it through you, you know?
Like she was my little child. And it was so nice to like bring everybody around and show them, you know, my favorite spots and also show them, yes, Disney's for families, but you know, as a group of young women, we can go out and also have a really fun time.
Absolutely. Disney's for everybody.
It's for everybody. It is for every single person ever, quite honestly.
Pretty much. Okay, so took the bus to Disney Springs, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Okay. And then so tell me about dinner. What did you guys have? How was there any entertainment going on? All that.
Yeah, so of course dancing on the tables and live music, and most of us are Irish, so we, in growing up in New England, very big St. Patrick's Day following here. So right at home, and just the vibes in there are very nice and very cool. We had a beautiful little circle table off to the side, which we felt like we were like, you know, the queens of the evening, because everyone else is in these booths off to the corners, and we're like in the middle of one of the dining rooms. We all started our night with espresso martinis, which if anybody likes to indulge, they are phenomenal there with the Irish whiskey. So we started with that. Lots of different foods. Our overall favorite is the shepherd's pie. It's also my fiance's favorite, to the point where like we were trying to figure out how we could get it back home on the plane with us, which, you know, did not work very well. But the bread there, everything is just so good, and the entertainment is fun. But we were all pretty hungry at that point, so just like chowed down on everything that we had. Fish and chips is always, you know, a must do there, and trying to think, there was like a sweet potato gnocchi on like the seasonal menu.
Ooh, that sounds good.
There was no bad dishes. Nothing was bad.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Was it pretty busy?
You know what? It really was. And we were shocked that Springs was so busy overall, because it is a Thursday in kind of the middle of January, in between like race weekend and after Martin Luther King, I guess now. But it was pretty rainy and cold, and I don't want to say like miserable weather, but if I was home, I probably wouldn't go out in it. Right.
I mean, I think there's so many like events going on during January and February now that it's just like, you know, Jared and I were talking about it. Like, it's just not ever like slow in January anymore. No. It's like, if you go to Disney, it's going to be busy. Just get ready for it. Unless you go at like end of August, beginning of like September, maybe a little bit slower, but that's pretty much it. But anyway, so dinner was good. Did you do anything else at Disney Springs?
Yeah, so we kind of bar hopped around after that. We went to Jock Lindsay's and Summer House on the lake.
Oh, I love that place.
We found a bachelor group. They were actually staying at Universal and doing some of those parks, and then doing Epcot, you know, on one of the days as well. So that was pretty funny. Kind of like the counterpart of a different group, and their group room of the evening actually got engaged pretty close to where we are getting married. So we're getting married in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And that's where they got engaged over the summer. So it was a really kind of fun connection there.
Oh, fun. That's cool. Did you, have you ever stayed, this is just, sorry, getting on tangent, but have you ever stayed at the DVC, Hilton Head Island, the DVC resort they have there?
We have not stayed there, but we have toured it and gone a couple of times because they have Dole Whip there.
Yeah.
So it's always a nice little spot. It's a beautiful little spot. Hilton Head's a funny place because it is a barrier island. But the Disney Resort's kind of on like the creek in the middle. So you have that like ocean feel, but it's still pretty like homey.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful resort. I would liken it a little bit to Saratoga Springs. It kind of gives off of that like kind of campy vibe almost.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen it. I mean, I've seen pictures obviously, but like never been there, but that's cool. No, I like that you're getting engaged and married in the same place.
Yeah, we're about to have a lot of fun.
That's cool. Okay. Did you go anywhere else?
Yeah, Jock Lindsay's, we had a drink or maybe two. And then we finished at Summer House on the Lake because we all wanted cookies. Of course,
yeah.
A couple of drinks there before heading back. But because it was our travel day, most of us, our flights were at, 7 a.m. So we were pretty tired.
Right. I would be too. Okay. So went back to the room and just turned in for the night.
Truly. Yeah. We all right out. It's that Disney tired is, it hits pretty hard.
Disney tired, and that's without a park. So that tells you something, right?
Exactly. But it'll do, a couple of cocktails in as well.
Right. Okay. So let's go to Friday, the 24th. So how did your day start here?
Yes, we, quote unquote slept in. I think we probably left the room by like 8:30 in the morning. Originally, again, talking about this months in advance, the goal was to hang by the pool all day. It was not quite warm enough to do that. It did warm up on Friday. So the plan, which we did do, was we got up, we ate breakfast at the food court at Caribbean, and then we were just going to go on a nice morning walk. We looped over, we went to the Riviera, we got some coffee there because delicious.
Yes.
And we ended up hopping on the Skyliner and heading over to the boardwalk and doing the loop around there, which is a nice little surprise. We had margaritas at Joe's Margarita stand and then moseyed on back. So what was going to be just like, let's stretch our legs and get our bodies moving ended up being a much more fun activity.
Aw, I like that. I, honestly, like anytime you plan something at Disney and it's like, oh, this turned out to be a lot more than I thought, it's like usually the case. Like I hardly rest at Disney. It's true.
Oh, yeah. We're going to take a relaxing day. And we all were like, well, we can walk around the resort. And we're like, well, we could also walk around that resort. I'm like, oh, we might as well do the whole group.
just keep it going. Just keep going.
Just keep going. Exactly.
That's awesome. Okay. So, Riviera, boardwalk, and then did you went back to the hotel?
We went back to the hotel. We, of course, brought way too many, drinks to the room and snacks and such. So we did end up hanging out by the quiet pool over there because Caribbean's main pool was under renovation for the first couple of days that we were there.
Okay.
We even would have needed to truck all the way over there because truly we were, so close to the little quiet pool on our side. And we brought some drinks and snacks and we sat in the sun in our sweatshirts and, leggings and our comfy clothes. And we played some card games and just kind of got to hang out, which again, these are my friends from my whole life, but we've all, of course, have, gone our separate ways for the most part and, don't get together that often. So it was nice to catch up in kind of a low key. We just got to sit outside and yap for a couple of hours.
That's nice. I like that. Yeah. Especially if they all live in different places where you just never see them. It's like, oh.
Yeah. And I truly did not want to scare my friends and do like a wild Disney trip that I know I can keep up with because then I wouldn't be able to get them to go back with me. So I needed to ease them into the chaos.
You're just easing them in. I get it. I get what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all a big plan.
Well, that's nice. I like that you went like in like sweatshirts and stuff to the pool. That just cracks me up. But
oh yeah, we brought towels as like blankets because it was, the sun was warm, but if the sun was behind the shade, it was a little iffy.
Yeah.
But it's winter back home, so if we can sit outside, we want to.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, what'd you do next?
Okay, so this was where my surprise came in of the fireworks cruise on Bay Lake and Seven Seas.
Okay.
We got back to the room and they said, you have to hide in one room and we're going to tell you the surprise. And I was like, okay, I'm not sure why I'm hiding, but by all means. And mind you, when they decorated on day one, I also was hiding in the other room and I can hear my friends giggling and like laughing in what was my room. And I'm like, oh man, like my friends are having so much fun without me. And I love it because everyone's getting along so well, but also like, let me let me play, let me in.
Let me play.
Like I want to go play with my friends, and they, the decorations were truly so fun and tropical and beachy, and had photos of my fiance with a sombrero on, like just, a really funny thing. But so I, hide in my room and I wait for them to come back, and they all come back in Hawaiian leis and then like blow up floaties in Hawaiian shirts with my face on them.
Yes. That's awesome.
So they had Hawaiian shirts with my face and my dog. And then I had one with my fiance and my dog.
Oh my
And that's when we were going on the fireworks cruise. And that's when like kind of all chaos broke loose, because we were all so excited now, because what a very cool experience. And I love Happily Ever After.
Mm-hmm.
The Disney diehards can really kind of crucify me for this. I do not love Magic Kingdom. The crowds, I do not good with the crowds. I will watch those fireworks from everywhere else except for in the park.
I can understand that.
It's just so crazy. And then I'm so tired, and I get a little cranky if I'm tired. So truly, for everyone's sake, it's like not for me. So yes, they surprised me. We all got ready in our matching Hawaiian shirts, my face on them, which was just hysterical.
That's so funny.
And my dog, and he's a golden doodle, like a human, and and we took a minivan over, which I love a minivan moment. I don't do it that often because it is a splurge. So that was a fun way for us to all get there. And we ended up doing dinner at Kona at the Polynesian first. I got to pick dinner. That was the one thing she said. My friend, who is the other annual pass holder, was like, give me 3 dinner spots that you would like to try that you have not tried yet. And she said, I'll pick whichever one works best with our activity. So I was like, all right, great. And I was like, I haven't done Kona before, and we all love sushi. So I was like, this could be, a good try. And that's where we ended up. So the Hawaiian shirts were perfect for that. We actually ended up putting our name in for Trader Sam's, and they said, oh, it's going to be like 3 hours. And I was like, actually, that's fantastic. Like, we have other plans. And it was like 30 minutes, and that has never happened to me before. So I, marked myself back down there, and they put us back on the list, thankfully, which, did work out for when we got back. But we had a nice dinner at Kona. We all shared a bunch of sushi and appetizers and some big drinks. I got a lapu lapu and the pineapple because,
of course, you have to.
If I have people with my face on their shirt, I might as well also drink out of a pineapple. So we were home. We had a wonderful waitress. Of course, I can't find the name of her right now, but she just made everything so much more fun. We were giving out leis to people. Truly just like, we were there for a good time, and we're, soaking every moment in.
Absolutely. That's so fun. I love Kona too. Kona's so good. Oh,
so good. I've had some of their I've gotten it to go. But I love the Polynesian. Who doesn't love the Polynesian? And yeah, the food was delicious, and just like a great little spot because you can see out to the rest of like the upstairs lobby there. So definitely would go back and eat there again.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I love it. Okay. So you and Tacona, you put your name back on the list for Trader Sam's, and then what did they quote you for when you put it back on?
So at the end of dinner, they said it's going to be 3.5 hours. And I was like, you said that last time. And I looked them in the face and I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm the bride. I hate to use this. And she was like, ma'am, this is Trader Sam's. Like, I'm sure you know how this works. I'm like, I know, but I really want to take my friends here. She's like, okay, if you get the text us back and say like what your ETA is. She said, I'm sure we can put you back on the list. She's like, we can't guarantee it, but we'll try our best. And I was like, this is all I needed to hear. It ended up working out. We got the text as we were on the monorail back. So all's well that ends.
That's awesome.
Yes. We took the monorail over to the Grand to get on the boat. So it was fun, another like resort kind of trip we can check off. We had a little bit of time. So we went up and shopped a little bit and came back down and just another place to explore. But that was where we picked up the pontoon boat. Okay.
Oh, okay. So you went to Grand Floridian to do that?
Yes. We originally thought it was going to be at the Poly, but they had moved it for, whatever reason that may be. But we were right there anyways. So
okay. All right. So you
more transportation.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, you're right there, so it's pretty easy to do. But okay. So take me through like the whole thing about the boat and what you got to do and all that.
Yes. Okay. So I will preface this with, I would do this on every trip again, hands down, regardless of price. I will say, I believe it's around $400, and that's for up to 10 people. So I'm sure there's some based pricing around there, but that was kind of the average when I had looked into this in the past. And it surpassed like the value in that. So we pick up the boat, we meet our captain, and they had it decorated. So they had a big banner on the side that matched the I'm celebrating buttons, and they had balloons on it, and they had blankets. They told us to bring blankets from the hotel as well, because they said that they will stop by the laundry services at whatever hotel that they're taking the boat out from and ask for blankets, but it's not always guaranteed. So they did have some on board. We called down to the front desk at Caribbean and said, hey, we're doing this. Can we get some extra ones? They said, no problem. They brought them over. So we were prepared because, again, it was a little chilly at night. We got on board and they had soft drinks, so like bottled sodas, bottled Coke products, and water, and then a full like basket of snacks, so chips, kind of some like fruit bars and things like that, and also Mickey Rice Krispie treats. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word.
That's okay.
And all that was included, and then we could bring our own alcohol on board. Okay. So we brought way more than we needed, but we brought some bottles of champagne. You can drink from anything as long as it's not glass. So we did happen to bring plastic champagne glasses with us because we figured we'd have that by the pool or whatever. We did that with some pineapple juice and got to, drink mimosas and eat snacks while we were out there. But we took off. Fireworks were at 8 or 9, I would say. We left probably an hour and a half before that. And our captain was wonderful. He brought us around both of the lakes and gave us lots of just fun facts, trivia, kind of explained everything that was going on. I truly thought that Bay Lake and Seven Seas were like kind of synonymous to each other. And it turns out they're two very different things. And different in the way they describe them and use them. And so it was really cool to hear kind of just the history of some of the things, to be on the water and not be on like the ferry boat. Like we got to really get up close and explore, and he was answering any questions we had, all of them. And just kind of, giving some Disney backstory, some Disney history, some Disney like fan facts and everything, and took us around. We saw all of the resorts from the water, which was lovely. And then it was probably about an hour and a half. And then they docked us out right in front of the train station. So you could see, I'd say a pretty good portion of the castle, which I was shocked about. So you could get some of the vibes of the projections from the water. And you see like the first one go off, and they had the music on the water with us. So every boat that goes out there has the music timed as well. So we got to hear everything as if we were, standing on Main Street, but we were floating, in front of it with our, blankets on, wrapped up, and with some champagne and snacks.
No crowds of people to be seen, right?
No crowds of people. And then you get off the boat and it's just you guys. Yeah. So that was really cool because, one, just an experience I've never had before. None of us have ever had that experience before, and people who've done Disney quite a bit. And for me, I kind of had jokes the whole time. My friends were like, you looked so happy. Aww. And they're like, we were happy because you were happy. And I was like, I was happy because you were happy. Like, I see these fireworks and I'm still tearing up every time I hear Go the Distance. Like we all have those moments that you're like, this is it for me. I'm going to cry for the rest of the night. And we all did, because there's a group of us, all very good friends together. And it was just a really neat experience. And there was probably, I'd say maybe 10 or so other boats out there at the same time as us who, booked the same thing. And our captain's, telling us stories like, oh, people get engaged out here all the time. I'm like, well, yeah, this would be incredible. And he kind of joked. He's like, yeah, but then you have to be willing to like share this intimate moment with me. Like, right. It is you and then also just me. So we're all getting a good chuckle out of it. But the view was great. Having the music was great. And I had said to my friends, I was like, I love these fireworks, but I do not want to be in the park right now because the crowds are just crazy when you leave. Yeah. So it was a really neat thing. Also, we're all matching in our Hawaiian shirts again with on it. So that was really great. We had the option to stay out for the electrical water pageant. We opted out of that because it was cold. Oh, yeah. And for what it's worth, it's a great activity. If it was warm, I'm sure we would have stayed out there for as long as we could have. But at that point, we were like, okay, I think we're all ready to kind of turn it in, because where we were, we would have been out there for another 45 minutes before it started. And we're like, we don't need to do this. Like, let our captain go home, be with his family. Like, we'll go watch it, from the inside of somewhere else. So,
it's too cold.
Yeah, we were like, we think we're okay. Thank you so much. She was like, oh, thank you. I'm also cold. We're like, yeah, we're all on the same page here. Like, don't you worry. But he came straight back. We got off, and thankfully they took all the blankets for us. We did not have to bring them back. That was like understood between everybody. So it was nice to not have to carry them around afterwards. And went back up, got on the monorail. And by the time we got on the monorail, we were planning on kind of hanging around the Poly and figuring out like, maybe we'll get into Trader Sam's. As soon as we got on the monorail, we got the text. So it was perfect timing. We were like a little hurried trying to get in there. And yeah, got to take my friends there for the first time, which was cool because, everything is just different and exciting. And I did not give them any clue as to what was going to go on. I just told them it was a bar, like a tiki bar. So that's as much as they knew. And I ordered, drinks sometimes based off of just what I think is the most fun activity. So I was really pushing, the ones that like have more of a group bonding experience, you could say, on the entire bar. So it was really funny and a good way to end just like a big surprise, fun night that just ended up flowing so nicely.
This sounds like such a fun day. Like, it was chill in the morning. You still got to do like Disney stuff without going to the parks. You got to the fireworks cruise. You had an awesome dinner. You went to Trader Sam's. Like, this sounds like one of the best days at Disney.
It truly was. And again, I'm going with people who don't Disney. Yeah. And only remember, the one trip that they took in middle school, and that, was, everyone says like, this is your once in a lifetime trip. So you're going crazy. You're adding everything in. You're probably there on a school vacation week. So it's you and your 30,000 closest friends, all doing the same exact thing. So it was nice for all of us. And, we're all 30 and nearing 30. So just definitely a different vibe of a Bachelorette trip, of course. Right. One being in Disney, and two, a little bit more chill than what you might expect. Granted, when you end the night at Trader Sam's, nothing can be that chill. But yeah, it was just a really cool day that just flowed really nicely all together. That had the weather been perfect, we probably would have just sat at the pool all day, which would have been just, that would have been fine too. But we had the opportunity to kind of branch out and explore a little bit. Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. I love that. Not even step foot in the park and you still had a great day. I love that. And that was, I didn't want everybody to have to spend a bunch of extra money on an extra park ticket, because it is, it's not that cheap. Right. And they're already flying here. My wedding is also destination. So I'm like, these girls are giving a lot for me. We should kind of tone it down. And I'm sure, all said and done on drinks and food, we probably spent the same amount. But it was everyone's favorite day by far, because it was just chill and fun. And it was a true vacation vibe. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's really cool. Well, I can't wait to hear about, hold on. I forgot to ask. Did you do anything else after Trader Sam's, or was that the end? Oh, no, we went to bed after that. I think we probably got back at like 11:30, because the next day was our park day. Okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. So, so Saturday, this is most of the girls' only park day, Epcot. Yeah. Okay. Was it just a base ticket? It wasn't like a park hopper or anything? Yep, just a base ticket. I love Festival of the Arts. So I knew that I wanted to get the most of that day. Yeah. The original plan was actually to do it on Friday to avoid some of the crowds, but one of my bridesmaids didn't get in until Saturday. She was actually in a wedding in Boston on Friday night and flew to us Saturday morning. So gotcha. Which was good. I so appreciate the dedication. We kind of swapped the park days. Okay. That makes sense. So, so everybody has a park day, or everybody has a park ticket doing Epcot. Did you do any lightning lanes or anything like that? Yes and yes. So we did a lightning lane and the virtual queue for Guardians. Good. Yes. It's an incredible ride. Mm-hmm. Our first song was Conga, which I love Conga. Mm-hmm. And honestly, let's be real here, I love all of the songs, but Conga is up there for me as my number 2. And then our second ride, which was our lightning lane. I want to say it was around $18 a person to get the lightning lane, which for me is worth it because I love the ride so much. We got Everybody Wants to Rule the World, and that is my favorite song on
Me too.
that ride. It's so good. It's such a different, it's almost like outer body. You're like very chill.
Oh my gosh. The vibe is so crazy. It's like everything else is like, oh, go, fast, everything, Whereas this one's just like, okay, I'm just like floating through space. Everything is cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're right though. It's such a different vibe. I love it.
It makes me think of the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 while Groot is just dancing on his own and like the world is blowing up behind him and he's just kind of bopping around and everything's going on. That's what I feel like. I'm like, I am baby Groot here, just like living my best life while everything is floating around me.
That is a good analogy. That's perfect. Yes, that is exactly what it is. That's so fun. Well, I'm glad you guys got to ride it twice.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. That was my not my biggest worry because of course you're in Disney. Like that, if that's my biggest worry, then so be it. But I really wanted to ride it as many times as I can. Truthfully.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you did that. Did you just do festival stuff? I guess we'll get to it. Okay, so on Saturday, what time did you get to Epcot?
We got there a little bit later than we wanted to because Trader Sam's the night before. We got there probably around maybe 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10. So, not too late. But we got in, we all had matching shirts. They were in teal. I was in white. They all wear their ears. They gifted me a very awesome, like a baseball cap with mini ears and a veil. And I said bride on it. So we all kind of felt, like the coolest kids around. And we had drinking around the world, like fake tattoos. So we got to check off each country that we went to.
Nice.
Disclaimer, they took forever to come off. I still had like a patch of it on my skin when I got home like the following Friday. So I would suggest it because it's a lot of fun, but you have to be committed to it.
Yeah. That's so fun though. I like that. I like that idea. Check off the countries.
We wanted to do something a little different, but still kind of keep the theme of, we are drinking around the world.
For sure. So what did you start with?
So we actually went right to Figment because we came in through the International Gateway and, none of the festival booths are open yet. And our Guardians are first. The virtual queue, I think we're anticipating it to be around 10:30. So we wanted to head to the front of the park and kind of stay in that area. So we went through Figment and I don't care if people say, I love that little purple dragon. And I knew it would absolutely crack up my friends. So like a couple people know me and have gone to Disney with me and I drag them on Figment every time. But 3 of them had no idea who this person was. Figment of your imagination. So again, I gave them 0 information. I was just like, this is a cute little ride. As we're walking through the queue, I'm kind of explaining what's going on. And they're like, oh, so neat. You see Flubber and you're like, oh, okay. Everyone's kind of getting it. We got off the ride and they were like, what just happened? Like, where did we go? Are we okay? Like, what even was that? I'm like, I know. Amazing, right? And of course, I make them stand in line to meet Figment with me. And
that's so funny.
I have not done his meet and greet yet.
And
he's got this funny little like entrance that he does. And we were just cracking up because also it's like 10 o'clock in the morning and this is their now first experience of Epcot. Like I'd say maybe, since 20 years ago. So
that's funny. That's very retro. Like that's a very retro way to introduce it.
Oh yeah. And like, we're all hugging Figment and the funniest pictures I have are of the PhotoPass person got every single one of us hugging Figment. Aww. And you can tell, like, some of us are all in and other people are like, okay, I don't know what we're doing. Because we also just got off of the ride.
Right.
And then come to find out, my friend, her partner is, like, obsessed with Figment and, like, their family is. So we ended up buying, of course, a bunch of Figment merch. And she was like, this makes so much sense now because they're out in LA. So they're in California. They're in Anaheim a lot. So they don't get that over there. So it was a really funny, like, she was like, this is what they like. I was like, I guess it's good for them. I knew I liked them, but
That is so funny. Did you get the popcorn bucket?
No. To be honest, I didn't love this year's bucket.
It's different, isn't it?
It's different. Yeah. I wish I had it last year's and I didn't. So now I'm like kicking myself.
Yeah.
I did Figment mug though. It's like his little body and you're drinking out of his head. I think I might put a plant in it to give him like a brain, but
There you
I
go.
did come.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you got your figment fix then early in the morning. So
Yeah.
what'd you do next?
We went over and made our way over to Journey of Water. I knew that my friends would love that kind of walk through attraction of Moana. And again, just trying to like experience these things that you don't immediately think of when you think of Disney World.
Yeah.
We bypassed Nemo because I have one friend on the trip who is expecting, so she could not ride Guardians, and another friend who has very motion sickness. So we saved, and I said, you guys do Nemo, we're going to go save the galaxy. But we walked through Moana, which is just beautiful, and the sun was shining. It was just really great. And then we made our way over to Guardians.
Nice. And the virtual queue was first, you said?
Virtual queue was first. Yeah.
Okay.
We were in group, I want to say boarding group like 20 or 30. So we got called pretty early on.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They opened a little bit later that day. I was anticipating us having to like hustle right there when we got there. And thankfully we didn't have to do that.
When you got in the actual line, once you scanned in, how long was the wait until you got to the first like pre-show?
Probably it was not very long. To the first pre-show, I think about 30 minutes.
Okay. That's like average, I think.
It's pretty average, pretty low key. I was also there for race weekend, for marathon weekend, and I think we waited an hour prior to that. I was kind of expecting that, being it was a Saturday with a festival going on. And thankfully, pretty much in and out the first pre-show. Yeah, I would say probably about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Next treat.
Nice. No, that's good. 30 is not bad. 30 is not bad. Okay, so you did Guardians, and then what'd you do next?
Then we started our way around the world. So we kind of skipped a lot of the front of the park. I would have loved to do Spaceship Earth. Just not enough time in the day to make it through Epcot with 7 girls. And a Saturday of a festival. So the lines are pretty long. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. We started to get smart as we made our way like halfway through around the country. Like, okay, you get in this line, I'll get in this line, you get in this line, and we'll all meet. And now we have 4 things versus all of us waiting in the same line to get one thing.
Oh, that's smart.
But to be honest, it took us a long time to get there. So we started, in my opinion, the correct way in Mexico.
Of course, yes.
Highlight there was the carne asada. I would have eaten 12 given the opportunity.
Oh, that's so good.
It was so good.
Yes. I think I had it last year or the year before. I can't remember, but yes, I remember going, okay, this is really good. I even had Jared try it like again later in the festival, and the price isn't bad, I don't think, for the meat you get.
For a good meal. And I like the festival because I don't like to eat a super lot while I'm kind of trucking around the park.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice to have, again, those small bites that like I could get it twice if I wanted to.
Yeah. And then you have so many people with you that it's like, okay, here's a couple bites of each, and then you can like try more things,
Yes. Every booth, we pretty much got at least one of everything for the most part. We had a few allergies. So one person is allergic to all nuts, and then one person is full vegan. So I was expecting more plant-based options. There was a good amount, but not as many as like Flower and Garden has, but I was expecting somewhere in the middle of that. But the people at the booths were very willing to accommodate because she loved the sides that came with the carne with whatever. There was like a corn thing, and they just plopped those on there for her. So that was really nice. And they did that a few other times at some other booths as well. So
that's good.
Definitely kind of, speak up if you can. The worst they can say is no, and you don't. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
We all got the Strawberry Fields margarita because it just sounded delicious, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
And we knew we wanted to make a fun, like, trendy Instagram video or TikTok video. So we did the like, hi, my name is Kensi, and this is my first drink. And I will say it derailed pretty quickly because after the second drink, we all forgot what drink it was or what country we were in or what we were doing. Or so that video is pretty funny.
Did you post that?
I have not posted it yet. But
Okay. Because I did see one very recently that was very similar to that. And I was like, did I see yours? But I guess I haven't seen it yet. Okay.
Oh, it's
good to know.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay.
And because, again, a lot of people don't really know where we are. And the booths don't say like Mexico, Norway, China. It says something. So like we're looking around at booths. Like one of my friends was like, I think this is boba. This has got to be China. Like it's just.
That's hilarious. I want to see this.
I will send it your way.
Okay.
I had once we made it over to Norway. I was like, everyone has to rub the troll's nose. It's good luck.
Yeah.
And so we got in, and then I was like, and everyone has to do a little dance around the troll. And then I'm very serious. And I was like, absolutely. So I had a lot of fun, truly just like kind of messing with my friends, which like doesn't look different to anybody, you know, in Disney World. But,
right.
you know, it's also not that late in the day.
Right.
So we made our way through, didn't stop in Norway, stopped over in China. We got like the lychee tea. It's like purple with a flower on it with boba. It was not my favorite drink, but it was very pretty. So definitely worth that there. We got all of the food there and, you know, 10 out of 10. No one had any complaints about food all day.
Okay.
And if you do, that's on you, unfortunately.
Okay.
You'll find something. That's what we kept saying. I'm like, there's plenty of things here. If you don't like it, find the next one.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's so much to choose from. Yeah. Everybody's gonna find something.
Everyone's gonna find something.
Yeah.
And then our next stop was Germany, and the red wine braised beef short ribs is my favorite of any festival food ever.
It's really good. I agree. Mm-hmm.
So we all had to get that, of course, which was delicious and a really good like anchor to the day of like, it felt like a meal. And this was probably like, I want to say probably 3 hours after we were even in Mexico. So we were slowly making our way around.
Okay.
So it was a good way to kind of ground everybody with some grapefruit beers, of course.
Oh yeah. Those are Jared's favorite. He'd love those.
I love them. They're so light and they're just very good. I've had them around here in a bottle and they're just not as good. Like not on draft. And also everything's going to taste better in, you know, the World Showcase. But,
sure. Question. How were the crowds this day? You mentioned you had moved it from Friday to Saturday because it would be, you know, less busy on Friday, but like, was it pretty busy?
It was really busy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I was like trying to say, I mean, it's Disney, you know, it was really busy. There was, I think we waited in the Germany booth. We probably waited 25 minutes for food. And that was hard for, like, I know enough of like, I've you know, many festivals under my belt here. Like I know if I like something, I should just get that and something else because you're waiting in line for so long. You should get more than one small bite.
Right.
And that was, we kind of got to we hit a wall at some point where we all were like, we don't want to wait in line for 2 bites of food anymore. Like we want a real food.
Yeah.
Which just like didn't end up working that well for us. We'd still just wait in line, but had double of what we ordered. So It was very busy. I will give it. The week before that was so cold, and I was talking with people online that were local, and they're like, it is just the first day that it's like been nice outside, and it hit you know low 70s. So at that point we were all in t-shirts. So I agree. I'd also probably get out of the house.
Yeah, I remember Jared and I were at Universal during that we like Thursday, I think it was Wednesday, Thursday, and that was when it was like dropped to like 40 degrees, and it was so cold, and we're just like, oh my gosh, because we were at Epcot on Thursday, didn't want to be there for very long. We were there for a couple hours and we left, and then Saturday, I think this is the same Saturday that you were there. I was looking, and it was just like shoulder to shoulder people, just gobs of people, and like everybody in Orlando was like, let's go to Epcot, it's nice outside. I'm like, yeah, I'd probably be the same. I would probably do the same for sure.
Oh, exactly. But yeah, that is definitely what happened.
Yeah.
Which, you know, gives the Disney vibes. It didn't pick up till probably like 2:30. So the morning was pretty chill. Busier than I've seen in a while. We were there again, like I said, on race weekend, and it didn't feel that busy then. Again, was not a festival, so you know you kind of take one, but I always picture that as like peak crowds.
Yeah.
So whenever there's another day that I'm there, and it's busier. I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone is here with me. All of my friends, they knew I was coming. So we, slowly kept moseying. It was probably the longest trip I've ever taken around the world because, again, there is 7 of us trying to eat, drink, and be merry, and also trying to videotape ourselves at each stop.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So you hit Germany, got your grapefruit beers. Did you hit every single country? Like, did you go to Italy next and everything?
We did go to Italy. We did not hit every single country. At this point in the day, we were picking and choosing just because the lines were getting so long. So if it was something that we were like not super obsessed with, we were like, you know what, we'll come back if we want to. Mm-hmm. Spoiler, we did not go back, but we didn't need to. We did go to Italy, and this is where we got smart and we split up. So half of us went into the festival booth and got the Italian margaritas and some snacks. And the other half of us went into the bar in the pavilion and got espresso martinis.
I've heard that one is really good. I haven't had it before, but I heard the one is specifically in Italy is really good.
Oh, it was very good. Okay. And the bar in there, I had never been in, actually. My friend was like, this is my favorite little bar. We have to go in. Mm-hmm. A cute little vibe in there. Like, it was very much a wine cellar was the vibe that was giving off. In the summer would be beautiful to cool off in because it was a wine cellar. Mm-hmm. But it was nice because it's a full bar and you have a bartender making them. So, versus like the batch drinks, it was nice to have like a really nice cocktail, and we all needed the espresso at that point in the day to kind of carry on. So like I said, that's where we got smart and we kind of divided and conquered.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Drank them, of course, way too fast, went over to Morocco, got in line only to be told that the oven was broken. We really wanted the Moroccan bread. We could not get it.
Oh, no.
Devastating, honestly. But we went a bit further back and we got the sangria, which was always a 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Delicious. At that point, we made our way to America, took some funny photos with like the George Washington like photo booth that you can go into.
Oh, yeah.
Truly some very hilarious photos. And it looked as if you told all of us to do something different, and we complied. But they did not tell us to do something different. We all just managed to. And at that point, we had our lightning lane. So now we are hightailing from America back over to Guardians.
Okay.
And that one went much quicker. It was almost a walk-on right through the first pre-show. I think we actually stopped just before that first pre-show. That was like the first time we had stopped moving. So we were in and out of there in maybe 20 minutes total, including, all said and done, 30. So that one was pretty smooth. We did have to hightail it over from America. So again, like, oof. In a perfect world, I would have planned to have already made it around the world once and still been up, by the front of the park.
Yeah.
But, that's not how everything goes. So those of us that were riding left the other two not riding to go to France, and we would meet them there. So on the way back, it was much easier. We went back through the Canada side the other way to make it over there because we needed our frozen martinis there.
Oh, yes.
France. And at that point, it was freezing cold, but yet we still felt like we needed them because, when in France, I guess. But right. So at that point, I'd say by the time we made it back and had gotten drinks, we had we kind of hightailed it back through Canada, but still we ate like the mushroom risotto, which was very good, a little salty. Mm-hmm. But at that point, it was when we all realized like, oh no, we're actually kind of hungry. And I will backtrack a little bit. Actually, we went to Guardians and then we went to Soarin'. I did forget that happened because I have these photos. The other girls over at Soarin', which one of them did not do because motion sick. Mm-hmm. So she stayed back and just hung out in the Seasons, just kind of food court there. And the plan was to eat like a quick service meal there.
Okay.
But during festivals, they close at 4, which I did not know.
Okay.
So like we would have loved to stay and have done Living with the Land because I loved Living with the Land, but we were all a little cranky. Mm-hmm. But Soarin' was, a hit as always. We made it through. We headed over to Canada, had the risotto, and that was where we were like, oh no, we are hungry and we don't want to wait in line anymore. We've kind of hit that wall of like, we're kind of turning into toddlers of like, if I don't eat very soon, I'm going to be hangry.
Right.
So we debated leaving and going towards the boardwalk and getting like a sandwich or something from their deli. But that's still kind of a long walk, and then you're out of the park, and you've seen the whole thing and getting back in. So we decided just to go to France into the, I guess, bakery, you call it, and had some sandwiches in there. So like a croissant, ham and cheese. Someone else got some Italian flatbread with like pasta sauces and things. And that did kind of bring everybody back to like some bread. Really did us good.
Just need some bread.
Over there. And I was looking at my timestamps here. So now it's about 7:30 and fireworks are at 9. So we split up from there. A few people wanted to go back to Mexico. My friend needed a shirt for her husband, and it has like a chili pepper on it, and it says hot and spicy, and he loves hot sauce. So she had to go back, head back. So at that point, we all kind of split up and just kind of made some decisions with the understanding we were going to meet back in Germany for the fireworks, because I think that's the best spot to watch the fireworks from.
Yeah.
I love that you can see Spaceship Earth in the background, but it's not the focal point.
Mm-hmm.
There also always tends to be some openings, like some benches and things, because they have that area roped off for events and such.
Right.
But not all of it. So I think people walk by and think it's all completely roped off, and it's just typically not.
Okay.
There was actually a wedding over at one of like the roped off areas while we were sitting there. So that was kind of fun to, sneak up on it and take a peek at.
Yeah. You're like, I'm getting married too. Yay.
You're like, me too. Like we're in t-shirts and matching shirts and you guys are in dresses. I'm like, oh, what a good idea. But it was a great little way to end. We all, got a beer or some wine. We found 2 of our friends in the little like wine bar there, just like completely hiding. They're like, this place is awesome. Like, we know. So we got some caramel popcorn and pretzels and beers or wine, and just kind of sat out there for, I think, all said and done, we probably waited like 20 minutes for the fireworks. And at that point, we've been walking all day. It's been, now 12 hours in the park, and we're like, we can, we earned this seat. But
yeah,
I like fireworks from there. I'm a big Illuminations fan. So like, nothing's ever going to beat that for me, but they're still beautiful. And I like that you have a little bit of a walk to get back to the Skyliner after. So by the time you get to the Skyliner, one, the line's not as long, but it's so nice to walk through an empty Epcot.
Yes.
Buildings lit up, and for us, 2 of our friends were leaving early the next morning, and the other one was staying a little bit longer. So we knew that was kind of like our farewell. So it was a really nice way to end like the bulk of the trip. Those fireworks are beautiful. We got to the Skyliner. Looking at my photos now, we, thought it was going to be some like crazy long wait, debated walking over to the boardwalk and getting an Uber. But by the time, we walk and call the Uber, we were like, we'll just wait for the Skyliner. Also, who doesn't love the Skyliner? Right. And looking at it, we were on the Skyliner by 9:05.
Okay. That's not bad at all.
Like maybe 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. So we did pretty good timing wise, all said and done. Which was great. We came back to our room after, and we had little lays like kind of everywhere in the room, and housekeeping set up the lays on our beds, and they spelled out love. So just a really cute like little touch that, you only can get in Disney sometimes. But
absolutely.
We said farewell to our friends. They were on 2 separate buses, but we called down to the front desk at Caribbean, and they actually arranged for a van to come get them and their luggage. They didn't have to walk it across the giant resort. One of our friends, the Mears, picked her up at 4:00. So she would have been, 3:30 trucking through.
Yeah.
Resort, which would have been beautiful, no doubt, but not exactly ideal after a day. So that was really nice that they were able to do that. And then the rest of us headed out to Hollywood Studios the next morning.
Okay. All right. So that was a big day Saturday, though. That's a lot of stuff.
It was a big day. And while we were there, we were like, oh, we like missed countries. We didn't get to do, we didn't do Spaceship Earth. We didn't do Live in the Land. And you're looking at it and you're like, wow. And then you look back and you're like, holy cow. Like I was just kind of scrolling through my photos as we were talking. I'm like, yeah, we really did jam pack a lot into that day.
Yeah.
And that was the goal because, most people had bought a single day ticket, if not a 2-day ticket. Only 2 of us are annual pass holders, and we're the 2 that go often. So
right.
I wanted to make everyone feel as though they got their money's worth out of a park ticket. I want to say it was $182 for the park tickets. I have in my notes for the single day.
Okay. Dang, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at, I forget what I was looking at today, but it was like the picture or like what's posted for like 2, 3, and 4 day base tickets or hoppers or with the water park option. They like, it was all listed. It was on like the Disney like kiosk thing when like you go up to the window and you like you can buy your tickets at the park. It was just that. And I was looking at it. I was like, oh my gosh, like tickets are so pricey.
So expensive. And that's what gets you is like, we're, up here, we're like, oh, we'll get good flights. We'll go, on a whim. And we're like, not if you're not an annual pass holder, you're not. Like,
no, right? Oh, yeah. It's hard to swallow sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So we really tried to make the most of our day. And I, looking back on it now, I mean, we definitely did. It was that like you get off the Skyliner and then you have to walk to, the room. And we weren't that far, just right across the bridge really and into Trinidad there. Mm-hmm. But then you sit down once and you stand up and your feet are just that like Disney, like throbbing ache. And we all kind of like moseyed our way over and we're like, okay, we are not in college anymore. We partied all day, but like we were in sneakers and leggings, like,
right.
So those are really kind of funny, like, oh, how the times have changed a little bit.
Oh girl, wait till you get to be 40.
I can't even imagine right now.
It sucks. It's just like, oh man, you could go. I mean, like sometimes it's better than other days, but like when you get to 40, it's just not like recovery is just not as much as it's not as good,
That's what it is. The recovery seems to be getting less and less helpful.
Yeah, for sure. It's like just drink like tons of water and like take Advil or Tylenol, like just doctor it
yeah,
up.
And we all had Tums in our fanny packs. Like it was truly like we'd have a drink or a snack and be like, okay, who needs a Tum? Who needs an Advil? Like we were,
that is so funny.
Because we're like, we want to eat all the things, which we did. We managed to eat and drink just fine. And my friend Kate and I, who's the other annual passer, we always joke that like Disney hangovers don't exist because it's the magic of Disney. And we're like, well, no, because you walk all day. Like it can't get that bad, but like it can.
Right. Like if you're at Epcot and you're one of those people that like you've ever seen get like escorted out because you are so wasted, like, okay, you've done a little too much Disney. Like
you need to know like how you even get there because by the time I've waited in line for the next drink, I'm like practically sober again, which is why it's so fun. You can eat and drink so much.
Right.
Because you just keep starting over in every country you're in. But yeah, no, it is truly mind blowing.
It's crazy.
It's way too hard. Like I thought that was a good idea.
Right. Exactly. Well, okay. So that was Saturday. So Sunday you said goodbye to two of the girls left.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So still got some left, but okay. So Hollywood Studios, what time did you get there?
Yeah, we, slow morning. So let me see, looking at photos here, we were walking into Toy Story Land at 10:40.
Okay.
So I think we got into the park. I think we probably left the room around 10. Truthfully, maybe 9:30, 10. One of my friends who is the annual pass holder, she is a Disney travel agent, and they were there on a group trip. So she went and did breakfast with them.
Okay.
Over at Steakhouse 71. So we met up with her afterwards. We went in and we were like, we're just going to mosey. We like took some photos in front of the theater and kind of made our way around. We did have a reservation at Oga's at 11:20.
Okay.
Which is a funny time to, have a bar reservation. But one of my friends was leaving. She had a red eye back to California. So she had to be out of the park by 5. So I was like, okay, we'll do it in the morning. And my maid of honor is my cousin, and she's come to Disney with me a couple of times. And we're very much on the same wavelength at all time. But we did a trip with our other cousin who has not done Disney with me before up until that point. And this was when Oga's had just opened, like pretty recently. And the only reservation I could get was 8:45 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
So anytime I can get a reservation that's not 8:45, I'm like, 11 o'clock, not a problem.
Yeah. 8:45 is insanely early. Oh my gosh.
It was so funny because it is, it's a 2-drink max that you can take one to go.
Right.
So now like we're feeling good in Galaxy's Edge, and it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. But so we were better off this time. We did get a full breakfast at the hotel first because we figured we learned our lesson, have
Yeah.
a good meal, and then we can be off. So we kind of moseyed through, went through Toy Story Land. When we had gotten into the park, Slinky had just opened, so we thought we were going to make it in time. And by the time we made our way, the line had jumped from like a 15-minute to like a 75-minute wait.
Oosh.
So we waved to Slinky as we went by and made our way over to Oga's, where we each had a couple of drinks and got to hang out there. We didn't do any of the snacks. I have tried them on my last trip, but we basically just ate breakfast. So we weren't quite there yet, which is cool. One of my friends is a new Star Wars fan, and the other one is a pretty big Disney fan, but has never been in there. So again, has gotten to do like some new experiences with people, and that is just a neat experience. All of Galaxy's Edge in general is a very cool experience.
For sure. Yeah. That's cool.
Then backtracked a little bit, went back out and did Tower of Terror and the Haunted Mansion. So one of my good friends, again, her partner is a big Disney fan, Disney World fan, but now they go to Anaheim. So she's seeing things for like the first time that she, has learned about and has talked about. And my cousin Kate, we've gone to Disney together now, I think 4 times. One of those being Disneyland Paris. Oh. And the only time I've been able to get on Tower of Terror is in Paris. Every other time it's gone down here. So we don't get to go on. So this was like, we're waiting in this gosh darn line and we're going to do it. And the photo is so funny. She's holding both of our hands, like truly scared out of her mind. And I forget that like people don't know the ride as much as I do. So, and her last experience with Paris, which is similar to the California, so it's just a straight up and down. There's no like traveling through.
Right.
So it was very fun to do. And those vibes are just so cool.
Yes.
There was 2 like middle school aged boys in front of us that were playing Heads Up on their phone. So we of course joined their game and kind of like took them under our wing the whole time. They're like, is this your first time? And I was like, oh no, I love this one. I'm like, okay, this is our first time. You could tell they were a little nervous. And we made the first move of like, can we please play games with you? And then like we were best friends the whole rest of the line. So just kind of funny the way Disney does that to you. You're like willing to talk to strangers because it's Disney World.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute though. I love that they're like, we've never been on it. Will you play with us?
Yeah, they're like, you split off into lines. I'm like, is it okay if we go this way? Will you come with us? And we're like, we will definitely go with you guys. Don't you worry. They made it in the car right before us. And I wish we had all stayed together just to like see their reaction. But it was a lot of fun playing Heads Up also with like teenage boys. It's hilarious because their clues are either so perfect or so far off that you're like, that makes no sense to me. But they're getting it because, they're one and the same. So we were cracking up with them.
That's so
But we ride the ride. We have a lot of fun. We get off. We stop at Joffrey's right off and get espresso martinis. That was not the goal, but that's where we ended up. And then headed to Rock and Roller Coaster. The line for Tower was decently long. I think we probably waited an hour and a half all said and done. Not too bad, compared. The one shaft had gone up and down a few times. But Rock and Roller Coaster, I think we were in there for maybe 30 minutes. So that was nice.
Not bad.
Made your way out, headed over to Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railway. That's one of my favorites. It's my cousin's favorites, and it's just fun.
Oh yeah,
fun ride.
Oh yeah.
Got off, got another drink, went over to Toy Story Mania. At that point, we had left one of my friends to go back to the hotel. We didn't do any lightning lanes, truly just because by the time we went to book them, they only had evening ones, and we weren't super set on spending the entire day there. So we were like, it's just not worth, planning out a day that we don't know where it's going to fall. And it turned out just fine. After we kind of did that, we went over, kind of just, mulled around in Toy Story Land, trying to take a peek. Slinky was constantly a long wait, and we bypassed it. Went over and did Rise of the Resistance, which a fan favorite, of course. Did the Millennium Falcon, which is always fun to fly the plane. Myself and my cousin were the pilots, and their other friends were not with us. So we are just cracking up, and the people behind us had never been on the ride before. So it was just a really funny, like, we're all just shouting and screaming and pressing buttons.
Smugglers is fun, but yeah, if you get if you get stuck with a pilot that is not so good at the piloting,
Yeah.
it's a disaster.
Yeah. And or like people that just like aren't having as much fun. Like it's not that serious.
Right.
I mean, it's very serious. Don't get me wrong. However, it was a fun little group. We were with like an older couple and their adult son who was like our age. So it was, we had a lot of fun. The five of us in our little plane there.
That's cute.
But after that, we left the park. That was probably, I'd say, around 7:30, and we headed out to Disney Springs to have dinner at the boathouse.
Good choice.
Oh, we love it there. It was, now there's 4 of us left. We're slowly dwindling. 2 of my bridesmaids, that was their last night. They were leaving in the morning the next day, or in the afternoon. So like, oh, we'll do one like the last supper. We went out to Boathouse, had a couple of beers, had some good meals, and we truly had the nicest server. His name was Kieran, and was just so incredibly kind. You know, we're talking, at this point I have nothing on that says bride. We're just, you know, regular park goers, and you know, we're chatting it up, and he was like, oh, can I get you guys any desserts? And we were like, I wish we could, but no, like we cannot put another ounce of food in our bodies right now. And he was actually able to comp our drinks for us, which was just so kind. And he helped make the experience, which the boathouse is always a great experience. So he made it even better, and we really loved that. We got we shared a bunch of food. We got the shrimp mac and cheese, which was incredible.
Yes.
Some sliders, a burger. So yeah, we had a lot of just kind of boathouse staples, which is always delicious.
Do you get the little drink? I forgot what it's called. The one with the little ducky in it.
You know, the Duck Raz.
That's what it is.
I got there and I was like, I have to get the Duck Raz. I have to get it. I love it. It's also so cute and like so Instagrammable. But we vacation a lot in Isla Morada in the Florida Keys, and they had one of the beers there from a local brewery that we love to go to. So I was like, this is a sign. I have to have one of these drinks.
I got you.
So I did not get the Duck. And then I got home and I was like, darn it. Like I should have gotten both. Like, what's the difference? Truly, you know, we're on vacation.
It's all good.
But yeah, at that point, I think it was probably like 9:30, and we were like, okay, we all have to go to bed right now. Like, now it's setting in. We've done 2 park days in a row. You know, eating and drinking all day. So we headed back. Took a bus both ways. We Ubered from Hollywood Studios straight there, so we didn't have to make any stops. Took the bus back, and was one of those lucky days where you're walking out and you see the bus pulling up as you're walking to the stop. So it was like, okay, we
Love
made it.
That.
Thankfully, we made it. This is easy. And that was the end of Sunday, which you know, brings us to now Monday. During the day, we got up and we went and had breakfast again at the food court, but walked over to the Riviera for coffee because delicious.
Of course, yes.
And we were already, you know, on our nice little walk anyway. So we got our coffees and then headed over to back to Disney Springs because we love it there. For lunch, we had 11 a.m. reservations at Homecoming, which was my first time going there.
Oh, okay. All right.
Holy cow, I want to live there. Like everything was so good.
Yeah.
Also, it was one of those days, like it was a little chilly, and then we sat outside and the sun was just perfect. We're all kind of chill. We got the deviled eggs appetizer, which was so good.
Oh, yeah.
You have to like deviled eggs, but they were phenomenal. And I got a chicken sandwich with their homemade fries. My friend got a smothered chicken. Like, everything was just delicious. The drinks were awesome.
Yes.
Our server, again, of course, I don't remember her name, was a blast. And we kind of got to like customize our drinks because we were asking all the questions. She's like, oh, if you mix this one to this one, we call it this. If you mix this one to this one, we call it this. So she got me hooked on the purple Cadillac. I don't even remember what it was. I was just like, that sounds delicious. Give it to me. It was delicious and very purple.
Yeah.
And of course got, you know, the big bottle so we could take an extra one to go.
I was just going to ask if you got that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You have to get the bottles. I'm a sucker for a souvenir cup.
Yeah.
Anyways, but it was nice to have, you know, a drink to go that we certainly did not need, but we wanted. We got the hummingbird cake, and then myself and my cousin stayed and my other two friends had gone back and left. So now it's the two of us left. We
Down to two.
Lost our friends. We did a little bit of shopping and kind of hung out there and then headed back. And it was decently nice out. So we sat by the pool in our bathing suits. It was warm enough. We got to hang out there, which was fun. The main pool was open at that point, but the hot tub was not working, which was a bummer. But what was a really nice option, we truly just didn't care that much. They were bringing folks over to the Riviera to use their pool and hot tub. So because it was working, they just said, find a cast member and we will walk you over or drive you over. And they gave you like a one-time wristband just to like show, like to get back into the gate, which was really cool. And had we planned for that to be, a much bigger afternoon than we were making it, we probably would have done that just to go experience another like pool and everything. But just a really, kind of neat way to keep people happy.
Yeah.
For us. We didn't care much that, we would have been in the hot tub, sure, but it wasn't, make or break.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty nice. We did go down the water slide once because why not? And then just had like a really nice, slow evening. We showered, relaxed, and then went back and had drinks and dinner at the Banana Cabana again and headed over into the kind of middle section of Caribbean Beach there. It's like a little like tropical oasis. And watched Epcot fireworks and Inside Out 2 from the beach.
Yes.
With our last remaining bottle of champagne to drink there. So we had a lot of fun doing that. And it was a nice way to unwind at the end of everything. That was our last night. And good. It was my cousin. She's my very best friend. So really just a very neat way to kind of wrap up the whole trip and just truly just chill.
Yeah. That's nice.
Which was great. And another, vantage point from the fireworks. And it was funny. We were about halfway through and she was like, we watched these last night. And I was like, well, yeah, the other night at Epcot, like those are the ones, that's what we're seeing right now. She's like, oh my gosh, it's so funny how different of an experience it is from different places. And it was like no less of a great experience from the beach there. Just, a little bit different. A little bit different. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, no, it's definitely a different experience when you can like still hear the music and see it from afar instead of being like up close. Because sometimes like, I want to say this with especially Happily Ever After, I will say if you're standing in the middle of Main Street and you can see the projections on the side, which are cool, you see the projections on the castle, also cool, the lighting, the fireworks, all of it is very, very awesome. It's an awesome show, but it's a lot,
it's very overwhelming.
Yes, it's a lot. So like if you isolate that like you do on the fireworks cruise and you just have the music and just the fireworks, it's almost kind of like, okay, like I can breathe a little bit. At least that's for me.
Yeah. And that kind of brought back like Wishes vibes for me. Yeah. Of like, I don't remember being, watching Wishes and feeling like it was a mad dash to leave and like feeling that like, kind of anxiety over like getting out of the park. And, I use that term very lightly, of course, but it was nice to see the fireworks. It kind of, you took a step back and it was a chance to breathe and kind of get back to your roots. Like I'm watching a fireworks show. Like that's what we were watching was like a fireworks show and music. So definitely a chance to breathe while still seeing this, experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sounds like a great day. Were you going to go to the park the next day?
So I did. I left my cousin. She was leaving a little earlier than I did. I said, I hate to see you go, but love to watch you leave. I'm going to head to Epcot for the day.
Bye-bye.
And took my nice little like, hot girl walk around the park. Got to do the things we didn't get to do when we were there all together. So I did the little painting wall thing, which I love to do for the festival that we just didn't, have time to do. I did that. I did the Once Upon a Stage, the Disney on Broadway exhibit. I grew up in the dance world, so seeing that was really cool. And I've seen a lot of the shows as well. So that was definitely a neat thing to experience that I think would have been a lot for, 7 of us to try to cram in all together. And then went back, got another margarita in Epcot in Mexico, got another German beer. And the funny thing is I kept taking more videos of like, hi, my name is Kensi. I'm the bride. This is my final drink. And then I was like, oh, actually, this is my last drink. Actually, this might be. I got a piece of art that I was kind of eyeballing when we were there of Orange Bird, but we didn't end up going back. So that was kind of cool. I got it and got it signed
Oh, good.
by Dave Avanzino. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but he does a lot of like mixed media.
Okay.
So it was a very cool and just like a neat little experience to kind of just to stumble upon. And yeah, made my way back. Again, stopped at the Banana Cabana. This time I met up with our favorite bartender. She was working. Shout out Kathy. She's fantastic. And had a drink. I got some snacks from the gift shop, the mango gummy drops. They have joy on them. They are so tasty. And that was the end of the trip. Headed back to the airport. Got back on the bus.
And what time did you leave?
My flight was at 5:00.
Oh, okay.
So nice. I got home. I think I was like at my home by 9 p.m., which is a great, easy enough to like manage to get up the next day and live your life again. I do a pre-check. So I got to the airport and I was very early, which is a gamble when you are with the buses, but I like to know that I'm there and that's fine. I got some Jersey Mikes and, sat and watched TikToks on my phone and got on the plane and slept the whole way. So
as one does. Yes.
Yeah. Once you're there, you're like, whatever, I'll stay here forever.
Nice. Okay. Well, I have a couple of questions that I've been writing down as we've been talking. So I know, like, you said you wore the bride ears and stuff. And like, so people around know that you were a bride and this is like bachelor party stuff. But did you get a lot of like, oh, congratulations, or did you wear a button and get a lot of attention from like the cast members? Did they like say anything to you?
Yeah, we did. It was really cool. We all had buttons. I actually had gotten some of my last trip, so I did use like the Cricut machine and put their names on them. And then when we checked in, they gave me like the happily ever after one that said bride on it, or they wrote bride on it. So yeah, we all worn a button the whole time. And yeah, in the park, I had to be honest, a little obnoxious, like white baseball hat that said bride with the veil and the Mickey ears, or the Minnie ears, which was fun. So yeah, it was definitely cool. Also, my one good friend who told everybody, she was like, well, she's actually the bride. So no matter where we went, everyone knew what we were doing. But yeah, it was really cool to feel the love from, the cast members, one. But something we started on one of my friend's Bachelorette trips was anytime if we were talking with people like, oh, she's getting married, whatever, we'd ask them their greatest marriage advice. Aww. So we were asking that around Disney, which, you kind of get some skewed answers of like, just say yes, do whatever she wants in Disney. Just smile and nod. You're into, some funny things, but also some like really just some nice moments with, strangers that, you wouldn't get otherwise if you weren't, outwardly celebrating this like big life moment. So it was definitely a really special place because I love Disney and I got to do it with all of my friends, but then they all got to also experience that Disney magic that is pretty common when you travel a lot. You do get, touches of it here or there, but even more so when you get to, outwardly share this big life event with, your thousands of other friends that are in the park that day.
Right. Oh yeah. I forgot to ask you on Tuesday, when you went back to Epcot, were the crowds noticeably less?
Oh my gosh. It was so chill.
Okay, good.
Such a chill day.
Yeah.
I did not do I did do a virtual queue for Guardians, but I probably got on like 7:01, so it was much later in the day. And I just was not going to make it, which was a bummer.
Oh,
but
okay.
I know, it's like, darn. But that's okay. I didn't ride any rides, but I think most were, Living with the Land was like maybe 20. Spaceship Earth was probably 20. I think Frozen was like maybe 45 to an hour. Everything was pretty low wait times, compared. But for myself, knowing that I only had a certain amount of time, I was like, I don't want to wait in line. And then also the time of the ride when I could go, have another beef from Germany or get some more caramel popcorn. And I always bring my fiance home a caramel apple. So I got to get one fresh that day and bring that one home. So yeah, definitely way more crowds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the weekends are always crazy, but you just never know.
You never know.
So my next question was, you mentioned liking to stay on the Skyliner and then that's partly why you chose Caribbean Beach and everything. And then you mentioned that like sometimes during this time of year it's down. Well, it wasn't down this time of year at all, right? Did it go down at all?
So it went down on our Hollywood Studios day, but just like it was a delayed start, and then it kind of went up and down throughout the day. But yes, that's what was making us really nervous was they hadn't announced dates yet.
Right.
And had it followed last year's schedule, it really would have only affected like one day, either at the beginning or the end of our trip. We were feeling pretty confident about it.
Okay.
But then the less information that was coming out, I was calling Disney, maybe once every couple of weeks to be like, hi, has this been announced yet? And I just missed it.
And
so that was a concern. And they're like, we have not, I can't say anything's going to hurt anything. Like historically, this is when it goes down. But yeah, so we really lucked out on that side because that would have made just a big difference.
Right.
When it comes to the ease of getting to and from Epcot and Hollywood Studios, which is part of the reason why we picked those two parks in particular.
I mean, that makes sense. Definitely. I mean, like, go where it's convenient,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was your favorite part of the trip?
Definitely the fireworks cruise.
Mm-hmm.
That was just, such a unique experience. And truly that whole day in general, we got to explore, we got to chill and chat and walk and like try new things. But that fireworks cruise was really something that I would love to experience with like every single person in my life because of how nice and it was a very luxurious way to watch the fireworks, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But getting to experience that, with, my 6 best friends was really just added so much extra magic to that experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was your least favorite thing about the trip?
Yeah, definitely the crowds at Epcot. It was tough. And we were kind of laughing at each other because we all kind of went through that phase of like, I'm hangry and I don't want to wait in line anymore. Mm-hmm. And we kind of all looked at each other and we're like, we're just complaining about like snacks. Like, get a grip, guys. Like, we are okay. And then the weather, it was just, not what we had hoped for. And I've been in January when it's been freezing like this, and I've been in January where it's, 95 and unbearable. Mm-hmm. So for the majority of us, this was a much better way to do it. I didn't want to be dripping sweat. Epcot in the crowds, in the heat, is a way truthfully worse experience. So it worked for us. I would have liked to have been able to spend a little bit more time in the sun.
Okay. That's fair. It is Florida,
Exactly. Like we're leaving Massachusetts and coming to Florida.
Right. Okay. And then when are you planning on coming back soon? Because I know you're an AP, so.
Yeah, I don't actually have anything on the books as of yet. Okay. The wedding is in June in South Carolina, so we're trying to, save some extra dollars there.
I understand.
Come back. Yeah, right. Hoping to come back in the fall or Christmas time. So my mom and I are trying to plan a quick weekend in November to do Christmas. We'd love to do Mickey's Very Merry. Mm-hmm. But as of right now, my next official, like fully planned trip will be for marathon weekend next year. Okay. I've ran some half marathons. I've ran the 5K. I've ran the 10K. My goal is to run the marathon next year. So, fingers crossed I get in. But that is the next official, but that's not to say things won't pop up on the calendar.
When is registration for the marathon?
Pretty soon, I think middle of March. Okay. Let's see, March 11th, actually.
Okay, because I think Wine and Dine was like just the other day.
That's like a week ago. It seems like registration for marathon is a lot earlier this year.
Okay.
Than it normally is. And I don't know what that has to do with, like the planning side of it. But yeah, it's a crazy time. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. My last question is that, do you have any advice for somebody else that is planning a bachelorette trip with their friends or family or whatever at Disney? Do you have any advice for them?
Yes, I have a couple of things. Do the fireworks cruise.
Okay.
Down. I can truly not stop talking about it. And none of my friends can. We all hung out on Sunday afternoon and all said the same thing. Mm-hmm. But just to give you and your friends some grace, like whether you're someone who knows Disney like back your hand and you do it inside out, back and front all over again, or your friends are that way or not, give yourself that chance to just connect and have a good time. Mm-hmm. Because it's one thing to go to Disney with like a friend or two. It's another thing to have a bigger group. And I think because we had so much kind of space in our itinerary, you still have to plan it out. It's a trip of, many, many people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have some semblance of a plan, but give yourself a little bit of grace and just allow things to happen organically. And I think those were some of the moments that we really got to connect and have a lot of fun together and like learn things that we don't necessarily know about. We all are working and do things on the regular that we aren't, super involved with each other's lives with. So definitely having those chances to just sit and talk or walk and talk. And I would suggest not doing a bunch of parks. It was nice to make Disney like a vacation versus a trip, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Interesting. That's a nice way of putting it. It's a vacation, not a trip.
Yeah. And doing Disney's a trip. Do not get me wrong. I want to be in every park and I want to be doing those activities, but knowing your crowd for one, and just, making your 1 or 2 park days like really special and then letting the other days be a relaxing vacation.
Yeah, that's good advice. I do like that you guys did a lot of like just chill activities. Because it's so easy just to like pack everything in at Disney because you're like, I want to do it all. But
because you can, it is so easy. Planning, lends itself to doing that. But Disney Springs is such an incredible place, and we truly probably could have gone there every day and would have been just as happy.
Yeah.
So using like the entire, Walt Disney World as your playground. We made it on the monorail. We made it on the Skyliner. We took a bus. We took a boat. So that was fun. We kind of got to check those things off, and
that's awesome.
It was a nice way to experience Disney World again through the eyes of people who aren't there regularly.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, I don't have any other questions unless there's anything you forgot to say about your trip.
I think I've probably said too much, but
no, you're fine.
Overall, we just had, a blast of a trip, and anybody who's on the fence about doing like a girls trip of any kind or just, a friends trip as a group of adults, 100% do it, because we joked like we can wait in line. We're adults. Like we can go do this. We're adults. And it is kind of freeing to have that moment in Disney World of like, I make the rules. I'm the grown up here. But doing it with your friends was just, everyone kind of gets back to their childhood, and that's where, I met most of these friends. So if anyone's on the fence of doing an adult only like friends trip, 10 out of 10, take it all over again. It is so worth it.
I agree. That's good advice. Definitely. That's it. That's it from me. That's all I have question wise and everything. I would love to see some of the pictures you took. I would like to see some of the videos you took. If you would mind, sharing some of that would be great.
Definitely.
So that would be, yes. I want to see the Epcot one. I want to see the, my name is Kensi.
Yeah.
I have to see that one. But anyway, so, but thank you for being on the show. This is great. I love hearing about brides to be and their trips. It's so fun with all your friends.
Well, thank you. This was a blast. I love listening to the show. I love listening to people's trip reports. It's just kind of a fun way to put yourself in their shoes and kind of escape whatever you're doing at the time.
Yeah.
But also so fun to like recap the trip because, we've been just about a month out now, and really fun to kind of go back through the memories and get to relive it. So I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. That was awesome. All right. Well, that was my interview with Kensi. So I hope you guys enjoyed listening to her trip about spending her bachelorette party at Disney World, which sounds like such an amazing time. And I think if I had to go back and do it, I've been married almost 15 years this year. And I think if I could go back and do it that way, I probably would have my bachelorette if I could, or even get married. I would even get married at Disney. But again, I've been there, done that with the wedding stuff. So unless we renew our vows or something, maybe. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Kensi will be sharing some of her videos and pictures that she took on her trip on social media. So if you're not already following us on social media, we're Facebook, we're Capture the Magic Community, and you can answer the questions and join there, and you can see some of that. And then we're also on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, we're Cap the Magic all over on those platforms. And don't forget to check out ctmvip.com. And that is our Club 32 private group we have within the network. And this is the place where you can get extra content, you can get discounts, you can get private podcast feed. We have meetups that we do twice a year, and lots of cool additional stuff you can do within the network. And it kind of supports the show and everything. So if you're interested in that, you can do a yearly or monthly membership. You can go to ctmvip.com. I think that's it for me. So thank you everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And thank you, Kensi, once again for being my guest today. And as I always like to say, we will see you in the